Community-based learning is a pedagogical strategy that aims to integrate community service with classroom learning. It helps students develop not only their academic skills, but also their personal skills and sense of citizenship.
Bachelor project of third year bachelor students social work. They will work here in this neighborhood with vulnerable residents about how to look, to use, to think about the space where they live in and how they can co-create things to better life in this neighborhood. With co-creation we mean that is the idea of one or more of the residents, which is the starting point to create things to work around. So they have a kind of ownership in their own neighborhood, and together with the students they can work on things to make their neighborhood better. Through accessible activities, they come in contact with the people who live here, and they learn to know them not from the starting point of a problem, but in their leisure time. They can do things together on a very low profile, no problems, and so they will look at them as just people who live in a neighborhood. Thus, it's very important for the students to reflect about it at their own, but also in groups, to make the connection between theory and practice, and how that they learn to see how they can grow as a social worker. In this neighborhood, this is all social housing, so people here are very vulnerable. Most of them, almost 60%, is not at work. They are all kind of different nationalities, and they are psychological vulnerable also. So it's a very diverse public. It's important to know that this kind of participatory work with students and residents in a kind of co-creation, it's not only for one single project, but it's a long-term engagement in a neighborhood, year after year. So when people come with another problem they would solve, next year we can come with another group of students to work on that problem. So it's important to have an anchor in the neighborhood, and a long-term project is necessary.
For us, working with the students, it gives us a different perspective on the things we are doing right now already. Also, working with people who live here, it's very important because we want them to create ownership about the neighborhood they live in, because it's their day-to-day life, and it's very important they have a good feeling with where they live. Also, with being with a big group, it's nice to have the support base to make recommendations to the government, that it's very important to have places like this where people can get together and also give their input in the current situation. Working on a long term for us is also important because it creates sustainability and support from the partners who are already working here, so that one day, if we might leave to a different neighborhood, that there is enough people to support a place like this.
I think at school we learn about a lot of methodologies, like working in an empowering way, in an outreaching way, in an accessible way, but you never really get to see how this happens in the real world, in reality. And when we work here, you notice how much flexibility and an open mindset is part of being a social worker, because your plans can change with one conversation with a service user, and that's something that can never really be taught in the books, I think. Yeah.
In this room we organize activities with the local residents. They're mostly conceptualized by them as well, which makes it very accessible, and through that way of working with them, it's nice to get like a view on the needs of the community and the area, basically. So yeah.
For me as the community, I live here in this neighborhood, so it's very important. There are my neighbors, so yeah, it's really important, and I want to do something for my neighbors. I'm always home, so I'm a bit of volunteer in this neighborhood. I want to do something. I want to have a goal to make the neighbors, the cohesion, to make it better here. And that's why I'm really happy that the students are here are here, because they help me to clear my view on how I can reach my goals and where are the problems, because some things are stuck. And they gave me a completely new perspective that I can look, and that's really helpful. And that's for me the most important, the neutral perspective that they have. And I learn a lot of them, and I hope that I can bring something back to them. That's for me the most important. So I'm really glad that they are here. And we have already done something. So I'm really happy. Thank you.